Welcome to our channel. Today we are going to talk about something that almost everyone wants but very few people truly understand. Confidence. Many people believe confidence is something you are born with. They look at successful speakers, leaders, athletes, entrepreneurs, and performers and assume those people have always been fearless. They believe confidence is a gift that only a lucky few receive. But the truth is very different. Confidence is not something you are born with. It is something you build. Every confident person you admire was once uncertain. Every expert was once a beginner. Every great speaker once struggled with nervousness. Every successful entrepreneur once doubted whether their idea would work. Every athlete once questioned whether they were good enough. Confidence did not appear before they started. Confidence appeared because they started. That is one of the biggest misunderstandings people have. They wait until they feel confident before taking action. But confidence does not come before action. It comes because of action. Imagine learning to ride a bicycle. The first time you sit on the seat, your hands shake. Your balance feels uncertain. You are afraid of falling. If someone asked whether you felt confident, your answer would probably be no. But after practicing again and again, something changes. Your body begins to remember what to do. You stop thinking about every movement. The fear slowly disappears. One day you ride without even realizing how much you have improved. Confidence did not magically appear overnight. It grew through experience. Life works exactly the same way. Confidence is built one experience at a time. Every conversation you have, every challenge you face, every mistake you survive, every goal you accomplish, every difficult situation you overcome adds another small brick to the foundation of your confidence. Throughout this journey, we are going to discover what confidence truly is, why so many people lose it, how fear secretly controls our decisions, and most importantly, how you can develop genuine confidence that remains strong even when life becomes difficult. This is not about pretending to be fearless. It is not about acting better than other people. It is about becoming someone who quietly trusts themselves no matter what challenges appear. As you listen, remember that you are also improving your English. Pay attention to useful words such as confidence, courage, resilience, self-belief, determination, vulnerability, persistence, mindset, self-respect, and growth. Repeat these words aloud if you can. Every sentence you hear is strengthening both your vocabulary and your way of thinking. So relax. Take a deep breath. Forget about yesterday for a little while. Do not worry about tomorrow. Give yourself permission to be fully present in this moment, because today may be the day you begin building the confidence you have been searching for all along. Lesson 1. Confidence is built, not born. One of the greatest lies people tell themselves is, "I'm just not a confident person." They say it as though confidence is part of their personality, something they either received at birth or never will. But if confidence were something people were born with, every baby would immediately know how to walk, speak, and interact with strangers without fear. That is obviously not true. Every human being begins life unsure, uncertain, and completely dependent on learning. Confidence is created through experience. Imagine watching someone build a bridge across a wide river. On the first day, there is almost nothing to see. A few pieces of wood, some steel beams, a small foundation. It does not look impressive. If you judge the bridge on that first day, you might believe it would never become strong enough to support anyone. But the builders return the next day, and the next, and the next. They add one piece at a time. Eventually, what once looked impossible becomes strong enough to carry thousands of people every day. Confidence is built in exactly the same way. It begins with small actions that may seem unimportant. Speaking up once during a meeting, introducing yourself to someone new, asking a question in class, applying for a job even though you are nervous, saying yes to an opportunity that scares you. None of these actions instantly transform your life, but together they slowly build something incredibly powerful. They build evidence. Every time you do something difficult and survive, your mind quietly records that experience. It begins saying, "I handled that before. Maybe I can handle the next challenge too." Confidence is not created by positive thinking alone. It is created by collecting proof that you are capable. Imagine trying to convince yourself that you are a good swimmer without ever entering the water. No amount of positive thinking could replace actual experience. Eventually, you must step into the pool. At first, you may struggle. You may swallow water. You may feel embarrassed. But every lesson makes you a little stronger. Every practice session makes you a little calmer. One day, you no longer wonder whether you can swim because you already know. Confidence always grows from evidence, not imagination. This is why mentally strong people stop waiting to feel ready. They understand that readiness often arrives after taking the first step, not before it. They know that fear is not a stop sign. It is often a signal that growth is waiting on the other side. Think about the first time you drove a car, gave a presentation, learned a new language, or started a new job. It probably felt uncomfortable. Your mind was full of uncertainty. But if you continued practicing, those same activities eventually became familiar. What once felt impossible slowly became ordinary. Confidence quietly replaced fear because repetition replaced uncertainty. Another mistake people make is comparing their beginning to someone else's years of experience. They watch an experienced speaker and believe they could never be that confident. What they do not see are the hundreds of speeches filled with mistakes that came before the polished performance. They admire the finished building without remembering that every building begins as an empty piece of land. Every expert has an invisible history that most people never see. Instead of comparing yourself with others, compare yourself with the person you were yesterday. Did you become a little braver? Did you learn something new? Did you take one small step outside your comfort zone? If the answer is yes, then your confidence is already growing. Remember this powerful truth. Confidence is not the absence of fear. Confidence is the belief that you can handle whatever happens next. It is not saying nothing bad will happen. It is saying, even if something goes wrong, I will learn, I will adapt, and I will continue moving forward. That is real confidence. It is built one decision, one challenge, one lesson, and one courageous step at a time. One of the biggest enemies of confidence is fear. Fear has a remarkable way of convincing us that something terrible will happen, even when there is very little evidence to support it. Before you give a presentation, fear tells you that everyone will laugh at you. Before applying for a new job, fear whispers that you are not qualified. Before starting a business, fear insists that you will lose everything. Before speaking to someone you admire, fear convinces you that rejection is certain. The strange thing about fear is that it often feels much larger than reality itself. Imagine standing at the edge of a swimming pool on a hot summer day. The water looks cold. Your mind tells you it will be uncomfortable. You hesitate. You overthink. But the moment you finally jump in, you quickly realize it was never as bad as you imagined. Many of life's greatest fears work exactly the same way. They grow while we stand still. They shrink the moment we take action. Fear feeds on hesitation. The longer you wait, the stronger it becomes. Your imagination begins creating problems that do not exist. You start thinking about every possible way things could go wrong. You picture failure before you have even begun. Eventually, you convince yourself not to try at all. That is how fear steals confidence. It does not need to defeat you. It only needs to stop you from taking the first step. Mentally confident people are not people who never feel afraid. They simply refuse to let fear become the author of their lives. They understand that courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is making the decision that something else is more important than fear. Imagine a firefighter entering a burning building to rescue someone trapped inside. Do you think that firefighter feels no fear? Of course they do. But their purpose is greater than their fear. Think about a parent working two jobs to provide for their children. They may feel exhausted, overwhelmed, and uncertain, but love gives them the strength to continue. Purpose has an incredible ability to silence fear. When your reason for moving forward becomes stronger than your excuses, confidence begins to grow naturally. Another reason fear becomes so powerful is because people often mistake discomfort for danger. Your heart beats faster before an important interview. Your hands become sweaty before speaking in public. Your stomach feels nervous before trying something new. These physical reactions are completely normal. They are not signs that you should stop. They are signs that you are stepping into something unfamiliar. Your brain is simply trying to protect you. The problem is that your brain cannot always tell the difference between real danger and imagined danger. Speaking in front of a crowd may trigger the same nervous feelings as facing a genuine threat, even though your safety is not actually at risk. Understanding this changes everything. Instead of saying, I feel nervous, so I shouldn't do this, begin saying, I feel nervous because I am growing. That small shift in perspective weakens fear's influence over your decisions. Think back to every major achievement in your life. Chances are each one began with uncertainty. The first day at a new school, the first day at a new job, your first interview, your first presentation, your first attempt at learning a difficult skill. None of those experiences felt comfortable in the beginning, yet each one expanded your confidence because you were willing to face the discomfort instead of running away from it. Confidence grows every time you prove to yourself that fear does not control your actions. It grows when you speak, even though your voice shakes. It grows when you apply, even though rejection is possible. It grows when you continue after making a mistake instead of allowing embarrassment to stop you. Every courageous decision sends your mind a powerful message. It says, I am stronger than my fear. Over time, those messages become part of your identity. One day you will find yourself doing things that once terrified you, and you will wonder why they ever seemed impossible. The answer is simple. You became stronger while fear stayed the same size. Remember this powerful truth. Fear will always try to predict your future using your doubts. Confidence predicts your future using your potential. The voice you choose to believe will shape the direction of your life. Every time you choose action instead of hesitation, your confidence grows a little stronger. Every time you refuse to let fear make your decisions, you become the kind of person who trusts themselves, no matter what challenges lie ahead. One of the fastest ways to destroy your confidence is by constantly comparing yourself to other people. It is a habit so common that many people do it without even realizing it. They open social media and immediately begin measuring their lives against someone else's highlights. They see another person's success, on another person's vacation, another person's new car, another person's promotion, another person's relationship, or another person's achievements. And suddenly they begin feeling as though they are falling behind. What they forget is that they are comparing their everyday reality to someone else's carefully selected moments. Imagine walking into a movie theater halfway through a film. You see the hero standing on top of a mountain, successful and admired by everyone. If that is all you see, you might believe the journey was easy. But you miss the beginning. You miss the failures, the disappointments, the sacrifices, the sleepless nights, and the moments when the hero almost gave up. Life is no different. Every successful person has a story that most people never see. They have experienced rejection, uncertainty, embarrassment, and setbacks. They simply chose not to stop. The problem with comparison is that it blinds you to your own progress. Imagine climbing a mountain with your eyes fixed only on someone who is already near the top. Instead of appreciating how far you have climbed, you become discouraged because someone else appears higher than you. But what if that person started climbing 10 years before you? What if they had opportunities you never had? What if they faced completely different challenges? Comparing two different journeys rarely produces anything helpful. Every person begins life with different circumstances, different experiences, different strengths, and different obstacles. Your journey was never meant to look exactly like someone else's. Think about a forest. Every tree grows at its own pace. Some trees grow quickly during the first few years. Others develop more slowly, spending extra time building deep roots beneath the ground. Yet no tree looks at another and decides it is a failure because it is shorter. Every tree simply continues growing according to its own nature. Human beings would find much greater peace if they learned to do the same. Your only real competition is the person you were yesterday. Ask yourself simple questions. Have I learned something new? Have I become a little kinder, a little wiser, a little more disciplined, a little more courageous? Those are the comparisons that truly matter because they measure growth instead of status. Another danger of comparison is that it creates impossible standards. You begin believing that everyone else has everything figured out while you are the only one struggling. The truth is that almost everyone is fighting battles you cannot see. The confident coworker may secretly battle anxiety. The successful business owner may have experienced years of failure before finding success. The smiling family on social media may be facing private difficulties that never appear in photographs. Every person carries invisible challenges. Remembering this helps you replace jealousy with compassion. Instead of asking, "Why don't I have what they have?" begin asking, "What can I learn from their journey?" That question changes comparison into inspiration. Suddenly, another person's success no longer feels like proof that you are failing. Instead, it becomes proof that success is possible. Someone else's achievement does not reduce your potential. There is enough opportunity in the world for more than one person to succeed. Confidence grows when you stop measuring your worth against other people's accomplishments. It grows when you appreciate your own progress, no matter how small it seems. Every skill you develop, every challenge you overcome, every lesson you learn, and every promise you keep becomes another reason to believe in yourself. One day you will realize that the race you were trying to win never existed. Life was never about becoming better than everyone else. It was always about becoming better than the person you used to be. Remember this powerful truth. Flowers do not compete with the flowers growing beside them. They simply bloom when their season arrives. Your season will come too. Keep growing. Keep learning. Keep improving. Trust your own journey because confidence flourishes when you stop looking sideways and start looking forward. Real confidence does not come from thinking you are better than everyone else. It comes from trusting yourself enough to take action, even when success is not guaranteed. Many people believe they need to feel confident before they begin something new. They wait until they no longer feel nervous. They wait until all of their doubts disappear. They wait until they believe they are completely ready. Unfortunately, that day rarely comes. Confidence is not something you discover while sitting still. It is something you build by moving forward. Imagine standing at the bottom of a staircase in complete darkness. You cannot see every step leading to the top. All you can see is the first step directly in front of you. Many people refuse to move because they want to see the entire staircase before they begin. But life rarely works that way. Confidence grows when you take the first step, then the second, then the third. Each step reveals the next one. Action creates clarity. Waiting creates uncertainty. Think about learning to play a musical instrument. The first time you pick up a guitar or sit at a piano, every movement feels awkward. Your fingers make mistakes. The notes sound wrong. You may even feel embarrassed. If you stop after the first day because you are not confident, you will never improve. But if you continue practicing, your hands slowly become familiar with the movements. Songs that once seemed impossible become easy. Confidence was never hiding inside the instrument. It was created through repetition. Every successful person understands this principle. They know that action comes first and confidence follows. Another reason action builds confidence is because it replaces imagination with experience. Fear loves uncertainty. When you have never done something before, your mind fills the empty space with worst-case scenarios. You imagine yourself failing, being embarrassed, or making mistakes. But once you actually do it, those imaginary fears lose much of their power. Even if things do not go perfectly, you gain something incredibly valuable: experience. And experience is one of the strongest foundations of confidence. Think about the first time you traveled to a place you had never visited before. Before leaving home, everything felt unfamiliar. You worried about getting lost. You worried about making mistakes. But after spending a few days there, the streets became familiar. You knew where to go. You felt comfortable. The place had not changed. You had. Familiarity replaced uncertainty. Confidence often grows in exactly the same way. Another mistake people make is believing that confidence requires perfection. They think confident people never make mistakes. In reality, confident people make mistakes all the time. The difference is that they do not allow mistakes to define them. They understand that every mistake teaches something valuable. They apologize when necessary. They learn from the experience. Then they continue moving forward instead of remaining trapped by embarrassment. Imagine a toddler learning to speak. Children mispronounce words every single day, yet they keep talking. They are not ashamed because they understand that mistakes are part of learning. Somewhere along the way, many adults forget this lesson. They become so afraid of making mistakes that they stop trying altogether. Ironically, the fear of failure often prevents the very growth that would have made them confident. There is a powerful saying that courage is not always a loud voice. Sometimes courage is the quiet decision to try again tomorrow. Every time you choose to continue after making a mistake, your confidence becomes a little stronger. Every challenge you accept becomes evidence that you are capable of more than you once believed. Eventually, your identity begins to change. You stop saying, I hope I can do this. Instead, you begin saying, I may not know everything yet, but I trust myself to figure it out. That is genuine confidence. It is not based on knowing all the answers. It is based on believing that you can learn whatever you need to learn. Remember this powerful truth. Confidence is not earned by waiting for the perfect moment. Confidence is earned by taking imperfect action again and again until what once felt impossible becomes familiar. Every small step matters. Every attempt matters. Every mistake matters. Because each one is quietly shaping you into someone who no longer waits for confidence, but creates it through action. And one of the greatest fears that keeps people from becoming confident is the fear of rejection. It is the fear of hearing the word no. It is the fear of not being accepted, not being chosen, not being liked, or not being good enough. Because of this fear, many people never apply for the job they truly want. They never start the business they have been dreaming about. They never ask someone out on a date. They never share their ideas. They never speak up during meetings. They never chase opportunities because they believe rejection would be too painful to handle. But what if rejection is not your enemy? What if rejection is actually one of the greatest teachers you will ever have? Imagine a sculptor standing in front of a huge block of marble. Before creating a masterpiece, they must chip away countless pieces of stone. Every strike removes something unnecessary until the beautiful sculpture hidden inside is finally revealed. Rejection often works in the same way. Every rejection removes a little more fear. Every disappointment teaches a valuable lesson. Every closed door pushes you toward a better opportunity that you could not yet see. Think about some of the most successful people in the world. Almost every one of them experienced rejection long before they experienced success. Authors had their books rejected by publishers. Actors were turned away from auditions. Athletes were cut from teams. Entrepreneurs heard investors say no over and over again. Yet those rejections did not define their future. They simply became chapters in a much bigger story. Imagine if they had allowed one rejection to become the end of their journey. The world would never have known their names. Another important truth is that rejection is often not personal. Sometimes another person simply has different priorities, different needs, or different opinions. Imagine applying for a job where another applicant has 10 more years of experience. Does that mean you are not capable? Of course not. It simply means someone else was a better fit for that particular opportunity. Imagine asking someone to become your friend or your partner, and they politely decline. Does that mean there is something wrong with you? No. It simply means you are not the right match for each other. Yet many people take every rejection as proof that they are not worthy. They allow one person's opinion to become their identity. Mentally confident people refuse to do that. They understand that rejection is information, not condemnation. It is feedback, not a final verdict. Every no teaches you something that brings you closer to the right yes. There is another reason rejection can actually build confidence. It proves that you had the courage to try. Imagine two people at the end of their lives. One person experienced many rejections because they took chances. They applied. They asked. They risked failure. The other person experienced almost no rejection because they never dared to try. Which person lived more fully? Which person discovered more opportunities? Which person truly grew? The answer is obvious. Confidence is not built by avoiding rejection. It is built by surviving it. Every time you hear the word no and continue moving forward, you send yourself an important message. You remind yourself that rejection may hurt, but it cannot stop you unless you allow it to. Think about learning to shoot a basketball. If every missed shot convinced you to quit, you would never become a good player. Every missed shot teaches your hand something. Every mistake improves your accuracy. Success is simply the result of refusing to stop practicing. Life follows the same pattern. Every rejection teaches resilience. Every disappointment strengthens your character. Every setback prepares you for greater opportunities ahead. One day you may even become grateful for the opportunities you never received because they guided you towards something far better. Remember this powerful truth. Rejection does not mean you are not enough. It simply means that one opportunity was not meant for you. Never allow temporary rejection to convince you of permanent failure. Keep applying, keep learning, keep speaking, keep creating, keep believing, because the only guarantee of failure is refusing to try. Every rejection you survive becomes another piece of evidence that your confidence is growing stronger. Eventually, you stop fearing the word no because you understand that every no brings you one step closer to the yes that could change your life forever. There is another truth about confidence that many people overlook. Genuine confidence is impossible without self-trust. Think about the person you trust the most in your life. Why do you trust them? It is probably because they keep their promises. When they say they will do something, they do it. Their words and their actions match. Now ask yourself a more difficult question. Can you say the same about yourself? Every time you promise yourself that you will wake up early but continue sleeping, you weaken your self-trust. Every time you tell yourself that you will start exercising on Monday but never begin, you lose a little confidence. Every time you decide to study, save money, finish a project, or develop a new habit but give up after a few days, your mind quietly remembers. It begins to doubt your own words. Over time, you stop believing yourself. That is why so many people struggle with confidence. It is not because they lack talent. It is because they have broken too many promises to themselves. Imagine hiring someone to build your dream home. On the first day, they promise to arrive at 8 o'clock, but they never show up. The next day, they promise again, but they arrive hours late. The following week, they make another promise and fail once more. Eventually, would you trust that builder? Probably not. Now realize something important. Your mind treats your promises in exactly the same way. Every broken promise slowly damages the relationship you have with yourself. The good news is that trust can always be rebuilt. Just as trust between two people is restored through consistent actions, self-trust grows every time you keep your word. You do not need to make huge promises. In fact, it is often better to begin with very small ones. Promise yourself that you will read 5 pages of a book today, then do it. Promise yourself that you will exercise for 15 minutes, then follow through. Promise yourself that you will drink more water, organize your workspace, or spend 20 minutes learning a new skill. Then keep that promise. Every time you do what you said you would do, your mind records another piece of evidence that you can depend on yourself. Confidence grows quietly in those ordinary moments. Think about building a savings account. Every small deposit may seem insignificant. $1 does not make you rich. Neither does $10. But after months and years of consistent deposits, those small amounts become something meaningful. Self-trust works the same way. Every kept promise is another deposit into your confidence. Eventually, your confidence becomes so strong that difficult situations no longer shake you as easily because you know something incredibly valuable. You know that you can rely on yourself. Another mistake many people make is trying to impress others while neglecting the promises they make in private. They work hard to protect their reputation, yet they ignore their own standards. Real confidence is built when nobody is watching. It is built when you continue reading even though nobody will praise you. It is built when you finish your workout even though no one is keeping score. It is built when you choose integrity instead of convenience. Those private victories become public strength. One day people will admire your discipline and confidence, but they will never see the countless promises you kept in silence. They will only see the results. Imagine constructing a tall building. Before workers build upward, they spend weeks strengthening the foundation beneath the ground. Most people never notice that part because it is invisible. Yet without a strong foundation, the tallest building would eventually collapse. Self-trust is the foundation of confidence. Without it, confidence becomes fragile. With it, confidence becomes steady, even during difficult seasons. There will still be moments when you doubt yourself. There will still be days when motivation disappears. But because you have repeatedly proven that your actions match your words, you continue moving forward anyway. Remember this powerful truth. Confidence is not created by telling yourself that you are amazing. Confidence is created by proving to yourself, day after day, that you can be trusted. Keep your promises, even the small ones. Honor your commitments, especially the ones nobody else knows about. Every promise you keep strengthens your relationship with yourself. And when you truly trust yourself, confidence no longer depends on praise, approval, or perfect circumstances. It becomes something that comes from within, something no criticism, failure, or obstacle can easily take away. As we come to the end of this journey, take a moment to pause and reflect on everything we have explored together. Confidence is often misunderstood. Many people spend years searching for it as though it is hidden somewhere outside themselves. They believe it can be found in money, success, appearance, popularity, or the approval of others. They tell themselves that once they have the perfect career, the perfect body, the perfect relationship, or the perfect life, then they will finally become confident. But the truth is much simpler and much more powerful. Confidence has never been waiting at the finish line. It has been quietly growing inside you every single time you chose courage over comfort. Every difficult conversation you faced instead of avoiding. Every mistake you learned from instead of hiding. Every rejection you survived instead of allowing it to define you. Every promise you kept to yourself. Every small step you took when fear told you to stand still. Those moments may have seemed ordinary at the time, but together they created something extraordinary. They created the person you are becoming. Think about a sculptor standing before a massive block of stone. To everyone else, it looks like nothing more than a rough piece of rock. But the sculptor sees something different. Hidden inside that stone is a masterpiece waiting to be revealed. With every careful strike of the hammer, another unnecessary piece falls away. The process is slow. It is messy. It requires patience. Sometimes it even appears as though the sculptor is destroying the stone instead of improving it. Yet with every strike, the true masterpiece becomes clearer. Life works the same way. Every challenge removes a little more fear. Every failure chips away at your excuses. Every setback removes another layer of self-doubt. Every lesson reveals more of the person you were always capable of becoming. Perhaps the hardships you experienced were not there to break you. Perhaps they were there to reveal your strength. Imagine planting a seed beneath the ground. For weeks, nothing seems to happen. The soil looks exactly the same as it did on the first day. If someone judged only what they could see above the surface, they might believe the seed had failed. But beneath the ground, something remarkable is happening. Tiny roots are growing deeper every single day. They are preparing for the moment when the plant will finally rise into the sunlight. Your confidence grows in exactly the same way. Much of your progress is invisible at first. You may not notice yourself becoming more patient. You may not notice yourself becoming calmer, wiser, or more resilient. But those qualities are quietly taking root within you. Then one day someone says, "You've changed." They notice your confidence. They admire your calmness. They wonder how you became so strong. They see the tree, but they never saw the roots that were growing all along. Remember every lesson from this journey. Confidence is built, not born. Fear becomes smaller every time you take action. Comparison steals joy, while gratitude strengthens self-belief. Action creates confidence far more effectively than endless preparation. Rejection is not proof that you are unworthy. It is proof that you had the courage to try. Keeping promises to yourself builds trust that no one can take away. And true confidence never needs to announce itself. It speaks quietly through humility, consistency, and character. These are not simply ideas to remember. They are principles to practice every day. Confidence is not built during one life-changing moment. It is built through hundreds of ordinary decisions that most people overlook. Every morning you choose discipline over excuses, your confidence grows. Every evening you reflect on your mistakes instead of denying them, your confidence grows. Every time you choose honesty over pretending, learning over ego, patience over frustration, and courage over comfort, your confidence grows. Slowly but surely, you become someone who no longer depends on perfect circumstances to believe in yourself. Imagine meeting the version of yourself 10 years from today. Picture someone who walks into every room with quiet confidence. Not because life has been easy, but because life has taught them that they can survive difficult things. Picture someone who no longer fears rejection because they understand that rejection cannot define their worth. Picture someone who no longer compares themselves with everyone around them because they have learned that the only meaningful competition is the person they were yesterday. Picture someone who remains calm during storms because they have survived enough storms to know that every one of them eventually passes. That future version of you is not created overnight. That person is created by the choices you begin making today. Maybe your next step is small. Maybe it is finally raising your hand to ask a question. Maybe it is applying for a job you thought was beyond your ability. Maybe it is starting the business you have been dreaming about for years. Maybe it is speaking kindly to yourself for the first time in a long while. Maybe it is simply deciding that today will no longer be controlled by yesterday's failures. Whatever your next step is, take it. It does not have to be perfect. It simply has to move you forward. Remember, every expert was once a beginner. Every confident person was once uncertain. Every success story contains chapters of fear, failure, rejection, and doubt that most people never see. What separates those who succeed from those who remain stuck is not talent. It is not luck. It is not intelligence. It is the willingness to continue, even when confidence has not fully arrived yet. Because confidence is not the starting point. Confidence is the reward for refusing to stop. There will still be difficult days. There will still be moments when your inner critic becomes loud. There will still be setbacks that test your patience and obstacles that challenge your belief in yourself. When those moments come, remember everything you have already survived. Remember every fear you overcame. Remember every problem you solved. Remember every difficult season that you once believed would never end. Those experiences are evidence that you are stronger than you often realize. Do not allow one bad day to convince you that you have a bad life. Do not allow one mistake to define your identity. Do not allow one rejection to silence your dreams. Keep moving forward, even if your steps are small. Small steps taken consistently eventually cover great distances. One day you will look back at this season of your life with gratitude. You will realize that the greatest gift was never becoming more successful, more popular, or more admired. The greatest gift was becoming someone who truly believed in themselves. Because when you trust yourself, you stop needing constant approval from the world. You stop allowing fear to make your decisions. You stop waiting for permission to chase your dreams. You begin living with freedom, purpose, and quiet strength. That is the psychology of confidence. It is not about becoming fearless. It is about becoming someone who acts despite fear. It is not about proving yourself to others. It is about proving to yourself every single day that you are capable of more than you once believed. So as this journey comes to an end, remember this one final thought. The person you admire most in your future is being shaped by the decisions you make today. Believe in your ability to grow. Trust the process, even when progress feels slow. Continue learning, continue improving, continue showing up, and continue believing that you are worthy of every opportunity life places before you. Your confidence does not begin tomorrow. It begins with the very next decision you make. So stand tall, move forward with courage, and never forget that the strongest confidence is not the confidence the world gives to you. It is the confidence you earn by refusing to give up on yourself. Thank you for spending this time with me. I hope these words stay with you long after this video ends. Take care of yourself, keep believing in your potential, and remember that the greatest transformation in your life will always begin with one simple decision: to believe that you are capable of becoming the person you were created to be.